This is Joel Grind. You're watching Crippled and Broken.
I'm Catherine Myers. I'm the editor at Darkslinger Comics.
Adam Watson, owner of Darkslinger Comics. I initially owned a small comic shop online, and around 2001, 9/11, everything started getting really bad economy-wise. Comic shops started to fail, and I decided that what I wanted to do in the comic industry was actually right. So for the first couple of years, for some reason, I kept trying to submit to Marvel, Avatar Press, those kind of places. Didn't really like the reaction I was getting, but I also realized the stories that I was writing didn't fit in with what they were doing. So I had a really good friend who read all my stories, named Russell Roy. He died in 2005. He was constantly telling me to open up my own business because I had the business savvy for it. I could publish my own stuff. I kept creating new characters anyway. So when he died, I figured, am I allowed to cuss on this? Yeah, I figured fuck it, went ahead and did it. So, yep, been doing it ever since 2006.
Actually, working with Adam is fantastic. He's actually fairly easygoing to work with. He's very motivated. He's highly creative. As an editor, I get a lot of leeway in what I get to do. You know, he doesn't really give me a lot of bounds as long as it's not affecting the story in some way.
Ish cannot change my stories.
I can't change the stories, but you know, if I need something done with the art, if I need something done with the coloring, with pretty much any of that aspect, I mean, it's pretty fantastic. I even actually get to help hire the artists that we're going to use for the book. So that's really nice because I like having that input of being able to find the perfect creative look for the story that we're creating. The Chronicles of Van Helsing is one of our ongoing titles. It's basically, you know, vampire story based on the Van Helsing family throughout the years and their epic battle against vampire kind and the kind of different scenarios they get into.
I write whatever interests me at the moment. When I sit down with my journal and my pen, I keep about 50 to 60 different stories going at any one time. And it's just kind of whatever mood I'm in, what story I write. We have Ghost Assassin right now, which is about a hitman who sees ghosts, principalities, good versus evil battle, fallen angels, though, instead of regular angels, taking on the devil and the Antichrist. Chronicles of Van Helsing, which we've already discussed, vampire book. We have El Bovine Muerte, which is kind of more on the cartoony side. It's a weekly updated webcomic, found on our website, darkslinger.com. We have upcoming Who Will Save the World, which is a World War I zombie tale. We have 100 Points of Hate, which is a crime saga style story set in Japan. We have Call Me Blood coming up, which is a feudal Japan vampire samurai story. And a whole lot more titles that I can't really discuss quite yet. But yeah, we have a lot of variation in the type of things we're currently doing. We've been doing it since 2006, and we have, what, 15 books currently 15, in print?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's a fair decent amount for indie. A lot of indie guys take years to produce 2 or 3 books. So, you know, we don't want to overload ourselves, but at the same time, if we don't keep producing new stuff, then every time we're at, you know, Emerald City, if we don't have a new product out, you know, it's going to get stagnant. People have already seen it. They're not going to be just picking up the old issues again and again and again. So
plus, we have a lot of call for people who are looking for more issues of what we've published. You know, we have people that are like, when are you bringing out the next Ghost Assassin? You know, Chronicles. When is the next one of that one coming out? I mean, we've got a real fan base for those 2 titles in particular, and people are really wanting more of that, more of those stories.
Oh, we've gotten submissions for Wolverine stories, which clearly Marvel publishes, not us. There was one guy who sent me a story submission back before I had her on board. That was about a bioengineered Jesus who was coming back that he wanted to just stab people, and that seemed to be the whole story. And when I asked him where the story was in that, he said he guessed I wasn't ready for that kind of controversy. It shouldn't make much sense to me. And yeah, we get some pretty strange submissions like that. We get a lot of great submissions. Not everything, you know, we can publish, but we get a lot of really strong submissions, but there are some that are just completely off the wall crazy.
Yeah.
And then I've had people get really mad at me for wanting to check their references from previous comic companies they've worked for. They won't give you the name of the person who was in charge of them there. I've had people get mad because they have worked for Marvel and they think that there's no way in hell that you should hire someone else over them. Yeah. I had a previous Marvel artist who told me that he was the stake and the rest of the artists I was looking at for a project were Hamburger, and so I needed to hire him.
The other problem I come across with the submissions is that when people ask me for feedback, you know, as an editor, it's like, well, would you like some feedback on what, you know, we're not really interested in this at this moment, or maybe you need a little work on this or this, but, you know, then I'll give them the feedback and then they get very, very irritated with that. Well, you don't know what you're talking about.
You're not ready for this.
You're not ready for my style, and if you have problems with it, then it's your problem after they ask for honest critique. So that's it.
Yeah, if you're going to ask for an honest critique, be prepared to hear it. We're currently working on getting in with Diamond, with the Principalities as well as Ghost Assassin, and if those two books do well, then we'll be looking at adding more of our catalog to Diamond. We have over 10 stories in the works that are currently set to see publication either by late 2012 or early 2013. Who Will Save the World that I mentioned earlier, we have a Kickstarter drive going for it right now. If that's successful, then we should be able to see that by, I would say, July, August at the latest. And we have the 100 Points of Hate 3-issue miniseries that will most likely see publication in 2012. Ghost Assassin in the cards
Which
is currently being colored. That one should be released by the end of 2012. Principalities #2 is currently being colored. Chronicles of Von Helsing #5 is just about to begin the artwork phase. So we have quite a few titles they're working on getting out. Plus we have a whole lot more conventions, et cetera, to do.